Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into expert ballroom dance instructor Vladislav Knight's playbook on how to survive and actually thrive in your very first amateur dance competition. You know, stepping out onto that competition floor for the very first time is a massive milestone. It's equally thrilling and terrifying, right? You've got the bright lights, the judges watching your every move, the other dancers. It's just a whole lot to process all at once. But we are going to break down exactly how you can set yourself up for absolute success. And the best part? It's not by changing who you are as a dancer, but simply by changing how you prepare.
This quote right here, it hits the nail on the head and perfectly captures our main point today. Look, feeling intimidated is totally, completely normal, but targeted, intelligent preparation is literally the ultimate antidote to your competition anxiety. It's just so easy to convince yourself that you aren't talented enough to compete. But the reality? The dancers who look the most confident out there are simply the ones who have completely dialed in their preparation. They've removed all the guesswork. So, let's look at exactly how they actually do that.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover picking the right routine, smart training techniques, physical preparation, conquering the actual competition day, and finally, the post-tournament breakdown.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, picking the routine, foundation before flash.
Okay, we need a complete paradigm shift here. You absolutely have to prioritize accuracy over flashiness. When you're putting together your routine, you need to select choreography that you can perform consistently at full intensity. I know, it's incredibly tempting to throw in the flashiest, most complex moves you sort of kinda know, but judges are actually looking closely at your foundations. They want to see clean transitions. They're looking for your timing landmarks, your entrances, your turns, and how you execute repeated patterns. Plus, before you even finalize that routine, you've got to do your homework on the event rules. Check the music length, the required elements, and the attire expectations. If you aren't absolutely sure your routine fits the category, double-check the event packet or just ask the organizer. Accuracy in execution and accuracy in following the rules will always beat unpolished showmanship.
Moving right along to Section 2, Smart Training, the rehearsal phase.
Take a look at this 3-day weekly structure because it completely demystifies the training process. You really do not need some exhausting, perfect, 7-days-a-week training plan. What you actually need is consistency. Day 1 is all about fundamentals, your footwork, balance, and core posture. Day 2 is about precision, nailing that choreography and timing. And Day 3, that's dedicated to full run-throughs to build up your performance pacing. Now, the golden rule during these weeks leading up to the event is quality reps. This means if your form starts to break down simply because you're tired, you stop. Do not push through bad form. Stop, reset, and restart with better technique. And always finish these sessions with a light stretching cooldown to reduce any stiffness.
As part of that training, you have got to eliminate on-stage surprises by simulating tournament conditions. First, run your routine at the exact speed you'll use on stage, no marking it out at half speed, okay? Second, rehearse exactly where you're going to place your weight on the very first count. Third, practice how you'll hit your opening shape. And fourth, this is a big one, aggressively rehearse how you will avoid rushing that critical first minute. Adrenaline is going to make you want to speed up, so practicing that initial pacing is what will anchor you when the spotlight actually hits.
And this brings us to another massive mental reframe, continuity over perfection. You have to train your reset moments. Think about your bow and pose transitions, or your breath control during the really fast sections. But more importantly, how are you going to recover if you make a mistake? Because guess what? Mistakes happen to literally everyone. Judges typically reward performers who stay composed and just continue on gracefully. If you only ever practice perfect runs, a single misstep on stage will completely derail you. You've got to train yourself to just keep moving.
To make sure your rehearsals are actually working, use this specific checklist during your simulation days. First, record your full runs on video. You might feel like your spacing and timing are amazing, but let's be real, the camera does not lie. It'll immediately show you what needs tweaking. Next, practice with the official track or an exact match so your pacing is completely locked in. And finally, you must do at least one completely non-stop run, even if it's super messy. This is what builds the specific physical and mental endurance you're going to need on the actual competition floor.
Which flows perfectly into Section 3, Physical Prep, Preparing the Machine. Tournaments are incredibly demanding environments. You're often dealing with long periods of just sitting and waiting around, followed immediately by a sudden, intense burst of high-energy performance. To handle that shock to the system, first prioritize building your stamina with controlled cardio or active conditioning. things like brisk movement, intervals, or circuit-style training. Second, build strength for stability, focusing heavily on your ankles, calves, glutes, core, and back. And this third point is absolutely crucial. Keep your flexibility supportive. You want gentle, consistent stretching and mobility work. Definitely avoid extreme stretching right before you compete, because you do not want to create muscle tightness that could throw off your performance lines.
We have finally arrived at the big day itself in Section 4, Conquering Competition Day, Logistics and Nerves.
This is, hands down, the single most common question from beginners. How do I stop being nervous? Well, the secret is you don't. You really don't try to get rid of the nerves. Instead, you channel that immense energy into hyperfocus. Adrenaline is a tool, and you can absolutely use it to your advantage if you have a solid system in place.
In that system, it's a repeatable pre-performance routine. Instead of trying to improvise your warm-up while you're already tense and anxious, follow these structured steps. Step 1. Arrive early so you aren't rushing through check-ins or lineup changes. Rushing just kills your composure. Step 2. Warm up in distinct phases. Start with light movement, move into mobility, and then finish up with technique-specific practice. Step 3. Right before you hit the stage, use a specific calming cue. This could be a mapped-out breathing pattern, a short personal mantra, or a focused visual. You do this exact routine before every single performance so your body knows exactly what is about to happen.
I love this point because it requires razor-sharp mental focus. Once you are actually in position on the floor, your mind needs to shrink your world completely down. Block out the audience, block out the judges, block out the scores, and absolutely block out any thoughts of what could go wrong. Your only job in that exact second is to focus on your very first count and your immediate next landmark. That is it. Just execute the next step.
Part of staying calm is removing any logistical friction that could distract you. The best performers are the ones who don't have to stress about missing gear. So, prep your costume and check your documents the night before. And pack this emergency kit: water, a quick permitted snack, deodorant, extra hair ties, body tape, heat packs, and band tape for any minor adjustments. And crucially, please listen to this one: if you wear special footwear, make absolutely sure it is fully broken in and tested during your training. Do not, under any circumstances, wear brand new, stiff shoes on competition day.
Finally, we wrap up with Section 5, the post-tournament breakdown, the aftermath.
Your tournament doesn't end the second you walk off the floor. Smart recovery and reflection right after the event will make your next competition dramatically easier. First, let your body settle, do some light stretching, and immediately hydrate. But while the experience is still fresh in your mind, whip out your phone or a notebook and write down these specific notes. What parts of the routine felt the strongest? What timing issues do you need to clean up? And exactly which sections felt shaky and need more rehearsal time? Capturing these fresh insights right then and there is exactly how you actively level up your training for the future.
Ultimately, your first tournament is about composure and clarity, not perfection. Whether you take home a trophy or you just finish your first event standing tall, you're going to walk away with a profound understanding of the process. Trust your preparation, lean into the smart training and logistical planning we've discussed today, and simply focus on performing the best version of the work you've already put in. So I want to leave you with a thought for your next practice session. Instead of trying to add a new, flashy move, what is the one foundational step you are going to perfect first for your big debut?